today we're going to talk about writing and naming and formula writing for ionic compounds, but now they have polyatomic ions in them as well. So this is really not any different than doing it with regular ionic compounds, like binary ones. But here we have to know our polyatomic ions, okay? So first let's go from the names of the formula. Magnesium nitrate. So if we're going from names to formula just like in the past, we have to write the element symbol and figure out its charge and crisscross our charges. So that's exactly what we're going to do here. Magnesium, Mg plus 2, nitrate, NO3 1 minus. Okay, so the only way that I know that this is NO3 1 minus is because I know what nitrate is. You should know what that is also, and if you don't, look in your reference packets so that you do become familiar with it. You need to know these, okay? Now we're going to crisscross our charges just like we did in the past, okay? And we're going to have Mg NO3, okay? So we want to make sure we don't get rid of that 3 subscript because that's part of your nitrate. But now we have another subscript that's going to go on it, which is the 2 that came from magnesium, okay? This 2 has to apply to the entire nitrate. The way we do that is we put the nitrate into parentheses and write our 2 on the outside. Okay, so that means that this 2 applies to both the oxygen and nitrogen. So we technically have 2 nitrogens and 6 oxygens. All right, let's go to potassium sulfate. We have K plus 1. Sulfate is SO4 minus 2. We're going to crisscross our charges, and that's going to become K2SO4. Notice how we don't need parentheses here because we only have a 1 subscript. You don't need to put 1 subscript, on anything. So you have K2SO4. These 2 I want you to try on your own. I'll put the answers up in just a second. But when you're doing it, I want you to look at ammonium. Okay, ammonium is going to be your polyatomic ion here. But notice how it's in the cation instead of the anion. All right, so take some time and look over these. So hopefully these were the answers that you got. Okay, let's go from formulas to names now. Okay, like I said, it's not really any different than what we did in the past. Still follow the same process, we just have some polyatomic ions in there now. So if you have a formula and you're going through names, you need to crisscross your charges back up. So here's where the tricky part comes in. You might be tempted to crisscross this 3 back up. What you have to know is that that 3 is part of your polyatomic ion. Okay, so the subscript for the SO3, that's a subscript of 1. So when we crisscross it back up, it's just 1. So we have NH4 plus 1, and then SO3 plus 2. We have the correct charges, so now we can go ahead and write the name. So this is going to be ammonium sulfite. Okay, next one. We're going to crisscross our charges back up. Our subscripts that become our charges back up. So this is going to be iron plus 3, and this is hydroxide minus 1. Our charges are good, so this is going to be iron. You have to remember that iron is going to be a transition metal. So whenever we have a transition metal, we have to put the charge in parentheses. All right, go ahead and try these 2 on your own, and I'll put the answers on the board for these tomorrow.